Parents, I want you to understand why speed is so important on critical exams. I have, for example, in front of me here an exam called the ISEE Verbal Reasoning. This is the lower level section. And this test is given to students who are in 4th and 5th grades who want to apply to independent schools. I believe that you need to know how fast your kids need to know the facts on exams. Because these exams demand speed. There is a critical need for speed. Top exams don't only test what kids know, but how quickly they can process information and how quickly they can retrieve information. Let's take a look at some of the top exams and see the need for speed. So the ISEE is one of them, the Independent Schools Entrance Exam. Let's take a look at this section. The verbal reasoning section, 30 questions, look at the time, 18 minutes. Are you kidding me? This section deals with synonyms. Take a look. So the student has to find the synonym that matches the vocabulary word. Then in part 2 of this section, sentence completions. The student has to read a sentence like this one. Because Paul was thrifty by nature, he rode his bike to work every day in an effort to blank fuel. Well, obviously the answer here is conserve, but it may not be so obvious to your children. So in this section with completions and synonyms, part 1, synonyms, look at some of the vocabulary words, okay? Solemnly and vigilance and adhesive. So your students have to know these words and answer quickly. And then let's take a look at the sentence completion portion here. I'm going a bit quickly, obviously, because it's a speed video, right? But you see, they have to know all of this. And again, see, stop, put your pens down. How fast is all of this? 30 questions, only 18 minutes. That requires speed. Let's take a look at another exam, the SAT, one that you might be more familiar with. Well, let's take a look at the math section. On the math section, the no calculator section, you have 25 minutes and 20 questions. Again, very little time to think things through. You've got to know your facts. You've got to know your equations. You have to know what you've got to do. You've got to process quickly. You have to retrieve quickly. 25 minutes, 20 questions. Let's take a look at the ACT, the American College Test, which they can take instead of the SAT, or they can take both. The English test, 45 minutes for 75 questions. Really? You think about how fast your kids have to process for that. 45 minutes, 75 questions, and look at the readings they have to do, and then they have to determine whether these underlined words or phrases or clauses are correct. There is no time for delay. Processing speed must be awesome, must be terrific. All of this, take a look at these passages. All of this has to be done in how much time? Let's go back and take a look again. 75 questions, 45 minutes. Oh my goodness. You see why I say there's a need for speed. And let's go back, and that's the ACT. I'm going to take a look at one more section of the ACT as I just thumb through this first section for you. Okay? And again, this is all being done in 45 minutes. Could you imagine your kids? They need to be really fast here. They've got to know their rules and their grammar facts, and they've got to know their sentence structure, their syntactic analysis, all of this, their periods, their punctuations, everything fast. Let's take a look at the math section, just in case you thought that was too hard. 60 minutes, 60 questions. But please, these are not just regular equations. These are what you would want to call word problems. You have less than really a minute to get this right. And look at the problems you have to read. Marcus's favorite casserole recipe requires 3 eggs and makes 6 servings. Marcus will modify the recipe by using 5 eggs and increasing all other ingredients in the recipe proportionally. What is the total number of servings the modified recipe will make? I mean, just reading that alone takes up time. Now you've done 30 seconds of reading, you have 30 seconds to answer. Hey, listen, this is not a game. This has got to be done rapidly. Rapid processing. And you wonder why so many of our bright students do so poorly on these standardized tests. And I'm not speaking about the Common Core state tests, which are not timed because they don't want them to fail, because they're so terrified of how many kids have failed in the past that they've said you could take as long as you want to. But that's not real life. I mean, the test itself is ridiculously easy. Then they took off the time constraints just so they can boost the passing records in states like New York. Horrific. Real exams require speed, time, rapid processing. That's what your kids have to face. Now, I'm just going through the math section here quickly. All right, look at the reading test. 35 minutes, 40 questions. And take a look at these passages. Passage 1, a literary narrative. Oh my, look how deep and long that passage is. And after it's over, you have to answer all of these questions based on this very long passage. And there are several of these passages here. Here's passage 2. And this is about science. And then you have to answer that. And on it goes. And passage 3. So you see how important it is for your kids to read with speed and understanding. Speed and comprehension when it comes to math, speed and accuracy. These are the keys. This is what must be done. There is no, in the science test, 35 minutes, 40 questions. So how do we do this? Well, it begins with something as simple as this. I love this at Scholar Skills. We call it, do your kids know their facts? We call it the fact fitness test to see if they know what they should know. Speed begins on the most basic levels. And here on this test, we give them 4 1-minute math fact tests, 40 facts in geography, science, and history. And so they've got to read and answer those. And there's some tips and tools for you here also. But speed and accuracy are essential for all important standardized tests. And you can administer this test at home. You can pick it up from our learning center or email me and I'll send you a copy that you can print. This is great. But notice there are 40 math facts here. Each of these has got to be done in 1 minute. The first sheet is for ages 7 and up. Okay, so you got to know it in 1 minute. And then ages 7 and up again. The next one, subtraction. All this has to be done in 1 minute. Each sheet in 1 minute. Okay, so subtraction 1 minute, addition 1 minute. The next minute is going to be multiplication. Okay, and the final minute will be division. Actually, mixed multiplication and division there. Then we have facts that they have to answer. Just facts about geography, about science, about technology, about history, famous people. This is a wonderful test here. For example, I was a Renaissance painter who lived in Italy, and it's in the Painting Hall of Fame. Do you know the answer to this one? I painted the Last Supper. And is it Picasso? Is it Newton? Is it Van Gogh? Is it Da Vinci? Oh, parents, check your facts. Listen, your kids have to know history. They have to have a strong knowledge base in order to read quickly. They have to have a strong vocabulary base, a strong grammar base, and a strong fluency in math facts. They have just got to know their facts. And so you want to find out, do your kids know their facts? Email me today and I will send this out to you so you can print it for your kids and give them the fact fitness test, which is the first foundations in all the speed that they will need.